What's going on, baseball fans? How you doing? Tonight, we're going to preview the top third baseman heading into 2021. Let's get to it. And what's going on, baseball fans? How you doing tonight? Hello. How are we doing? I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces here. Only 29 people so far, but I figured kind of coming into these previews, probably not going to have a big crowd. We're kind of in that in-between awkward phase right now when it comes to baseball just in general. Off-season is pretty much over for the most part, minus a couple of people. A couple of players, a couple of top players haven't signed. You still got Jackie Bradley Jr. out there. Jake Odorizzi still out there. And you know, spring training isn't really in full swing yet. So, you know, it's kind of like this awkward phase where I'm not expecting a whole bunch of people, but hopefully we can get close to 100 people tonight. Not quite expecting that, but we'll have to wait and see. Everyone, give me a thumbs up in the chat if the microphone is working okay. Again, yesterday, got this new microphone. It's, you know, I'm used to a USB microphone where I just plug it in and you're just good to go. So this is a little bit more advanced, I would say. So if everything is sounding okay, please let me know in the chat. All right, seeing some thumbs up. Awesome. But alrighty, so we are in full swing on preview mode for the season so far. I have done my top 10 players for first baseman and second baseman in Major League Baseball. And tonight, I'm going to be going over my top third baseman heading into 2021. I'm going to be honest with you. JH Sports, I'm not really understanding why, for some reason, you're saying that the microphone doesn't work very much, because everyone is saying it's working okay. I'm not really sure what's happening, my friend. Not really sure. But tonight, third baseman, this is a very deep and stacked position. There are a lot of good players on this list. Unfortunately, I wanted to put a few guys on this list. I really did. I was struggling a little bit with especially the bottom of the order, because I did want to get a few guys on here. And, you know, I had to make some tough calls. I'm not going to make some people happy. I've definitely not made some people happy already with a couple of the lists so far. And, yeah, left a couple of guys off my lists. And, hey, not everyone's going to be happy with these lists. The whole point of these rankings is to have conversation. That's the whole point. That's why I do any of these videos, is to have conversation. Any streams I have, any videos I make, it's simply just to talk baseball. My opinion is not end-all, be-all. A lot of the times, I am wrong more often than not. So, a lot of you guys are way smarter than I am out there. So, again, but these are just my opinions, and you are more than welcome to disagree. And, but yeah, either way, I had a tough time with this list a little bit. Had to move some guys up and down. And you know what? The list is done. It is what it is. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. If you like it, well, hey, great. But, however, I will start off with a few honorable mentions. That was the best I could do. These honorable mentions I actually had on this list at one point. And I decided, you know what? Hey, I got to leave them off. But I will go over those in a second. Before I start, if I may, if you are new right now, we got 46 people in the chat right now. Hopefully we can get some more people in by the end of the night. But if you are new, looking for more baseball content and news, think about hitting that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 6K by opening day. We're at 5.9. We're within 100 subscribers of getting to 6,000. And hopefully we can get there by opening day. If you are in here as well and you have yet to hit that like button, hit that like button for me. It's going to get the stream out to more people. YouTube is going to push the likes or the liked videos ahead of others. So hit that like button for me. And go follow me on Twitter as well if you want to talk some baseball throughout the day. So here we go. Let's just go ahead. Let's get started. I'm seeing about 50 people in here so far. let's just dive into it. But first, let's go over the honorable mentions first. Oh, actually, you know what? No, I take that back. Let's go over the 2020 rankings first. Let's go back 1 year ago because I did these rankings last year, and wow, a lot has changed in a year. We saw this with first baseman and second baseman, and there were some guys on those lists that weren't even on this list coming into this year. So here is my list from last year. Last year, I had Nolan Arenado coming in at number 1, Alex Bregman coming in at number 2, Matt Chapman at number 3. Love me some Matt Chapman. Where is Matt Chapman going to fall on this list? Anthony Rendon at number 4, Josh Donaldson at number 5, Chris Bryant number 6, number 7, I had Yohan Moncada, Eugenio Suarez at number 8. Jeff McNeil was playing third a year ago. At least that's where he was on the depth chart. And I had Rafael Devers coming in at number 10. So, Nahawand, yes, he was. He was listed at third base last year on the depth charts, and they ended up moving him. So, but these were the rankings last year. These were not this year's rankings, 2020 rankings. So, as you may be thinking right now, these are going to look a lot different coming into this season. So, let's start off with the honorable mentions. I am telling you. These guys, I really tried to get on this list. I really did. I was trying to come up with excuses for it. I just couldn't. I couldn't get them on this list. But you know what? I wanted to give these guys a shout out. So here are 4 guys that I did not put on this list. Josh Donaldson, that was a tough one for me. Left him off this list this year. You know what? Just really did not play that much this year. Couldn't play in the postseason. Unfortunately, I just had to leave him off. Brian Anderson, really solid. I actually had Brian Anderson at number 10 on this list at one point, and it was painful for me to leave him off. JH Sports, please, you're setting off the Streamlabs mod. Let's stop doing that, my friend. Gio Urshela, I wanted to put him on this list very bad. I really, really wanted to put him on this list, and I just couldn't. I love Urshela. He's on our rival team, but man, I just love the game. And Kyle Seager. This guy has actually been pretty solid in the last few years. He's, I just couldn't find a place for him on this list, unfortunately. But these guys, to me, honorable mentions, really wanted to put them on. So, however, unfortunately, I may be making some people unhappy by leaving them off of this list, but to me, they were at least honorable mentions. They were very close. All of them I considered to be at least number 10 on this list. So, apologies if you are unhappy about that. But what can I say? Let's just go ahead. Let's get started with the list. Here we go. Coming in at number 10, starting it off just like last year. Don't call me Giraffe Neck Robbie. I am one of this guy's biggest critics. I wanted to leave him off of this list very much. I just couldn't do it. He just made too much of a case for me. Rafael Devers, I am his biggest critic. I am a full-blown Rafael Devers critic. I do not like the defense from him. I have been on the record to saying that. I am not a fan of the defense. That really needs to improve. As a Red Sox fan, that's where I need to see it. I need to see the normal, consistent plays, just routine grounders. I need to see those shored up a little bit. I think Alex Cora, he's going to be really tough on Devers. Rafael Devers actually did decent on defense in 2019. Gave up a lot of runs. He was in the negatives in the defensive runs saved. The UZR was a little low, but for the most part, he was kind of getting it done in 2019, especially in the second half of the season. So this year, however, or 2020, definitely took a step back a little bit. There were many games I was watching just bobbling ground balls, not making a good throw, simple routine plays like that. And but the offense to me, it's just too good. The offense is just so good. If you go back, he didn't have the best line this year, but he really started heating up towards the end of the season, more in the second half of the season. And 2019, holy cow, this guy had a season. So let's go ahead. Let's share the screen. Let me make sure we're on the right page. Here we go. Starting off, Rafael Devers. So as you can see here, not really an impressive stat line in 2020. Only hit 263, only had the 310 on base. However, he did start to heat up in the second half. The guy was really starting to come alive. Unfortunately, only had the 57 games. Who knows what would have happened, but he was on pace for at least 30 home runs this season. He was on pace for a good amount of RBIs as well. Rafael Devers, most likely, in my opinion, was going to get it going. The average would have finished right near 300. Probably the on base would have definitely gone up a little bit. The slugging probably would have gone up a little bit. But, trust me, I really did want to leave Devers off of this list. I did. I really did. But to me, the offense is just so good. It's so good. If you go take a look at 2020, let's actually see, where did he so 2020 was, again, a bit of a down year, but I'm factoring in 2019 as well. That's what I'm doing with all of these players. I'm not just factoring what they did last year. I'm factoring in what they did for the last couple of years, even the last few years. And if we take a look at Devers, he ranked 16th in offensive runs above average in 2020. But if we do 2019 and 2020, so if you take a look here, Rafael Devers, he was the 8th best third baseman on Fangraphs over the last 2 years. So when you factor in both the offense and the defense, if you take a look at the offense, this guy is number 4 in the last 2 years in offensive runs above average. It's just very hard for me to leave him off of this list just because the offense is so good. If you actually take a look, the defense is right at 0. It's over the last 2 years, when you combine it, it's neither great nor bad. So, to me, the offense was just too good to leave him off of this list. I tried to find every reason to, because I am a big critic of Rafael Devers. And, there is such a good player, a full all-around good player in there. And he has not yet shown that, though, at least in my full opinion. I think he could be a lot better. If we also go take a look at the advanced stats as well, exit velocity was still off the charts. The guy was hitting the ball like a million miles an hour. There were some laser shots that he hit last year where I was like, oh my God. Hard hit percentage was still really high. Ex-WOBA, right in the middle of the pack. Ex-batting average, ex-slugging, barrel percentage still really good. Striking out a little bit, not walking enough this past year. Outs above average, as you can see. I mean, I've gone on and on with the outs above average, the defense with him. So that is something that needs to be improved. However, the guy is still an offensive machine. I really believe that with Rafael Devers. So that's who I have coming in at number 10. At number 9, coming in next, I have Justin Turner. Justin Turner, to me, this guy, man, oh man, he had a really good season last year, but he really came alive in the playoffs this past year. So let's go take a look at him. Sharing the screen. Okay, Justin Turner at number 9. He had a good season this past year. Hit 307. 60-game season. He played 42 of them. He has been dealing with some injury problems over the last few years, but overall, a pretty solid season from him. 307 average, 400 on base. The WRC plus ranked really well. Overall, a very solid season from Justin Turner. Just got himself a nice, good contract from him. 2020 in the postseason. Overall, in the postseason, hit 250 in this postseason, had himself a few homers, drove in some runs. Actually, in the World Series, I believe, let me actually pull up the World Series numbers. Going a little blank on how he did in the World Series. I know he was good. So let's take a look. Postseason batting on Baseball Reference. In the World Series, hit 320 in the World Series where it mattered most. Couple of home runs, a couple RBIs. I mean, he was hitting really well. 346 on base, 720 slugging. The guy was getting it done. Had himself 4 doubles in the World Series. Awesome. I mean, the guy was playing very well in the World Series. So Justin Turner, to me, getting up there in age a little bit. Very curious to see how he ends up doing for the next couple of years. Decent contract that he just got. So, hey, will he be able to live up to that contract? I mean, hey, he's still hitting pretty well. If you take a look at him over the last few years, in offense, he ranks 7th over the last couple of years. And if you take a look at just where he ranks overall when it comes to wins above replacement, where is he at, Justin Turner? So he's 15th overall in wins above replacement, but I just felt like he had a really good season, bumped him up enough on this list to where 2019 was also very good. The postseason was very good. So that kind of helped me vault him into my top 10. So Moving on here. We are moving on to number 8 on my list. At number 8, I believe he was in this same exact spot last year, just like Rafael Devers was last year, and that is Eugenio Suarez. Oh my, this guy's 2019 season was just off the charts. Let's take a look here. Eugenio Suarez sharing the screen. Here we go. So this year, a bit down when it came to the batting average, but the guy still had 15 home runs. Again, low batting average. The on base was pretty low as well, but the slugging was still really high. Still had a lot of homers. And if you go back to that 2019 season, had 49 home runs, 103 RBIs. On base was still really good. Look at that slugging, a 572 slugging. Man, out of his mind. Oh, dang, did I just click out of that list? Dang it. Here we go. Let me actually pull that back up. All right. So looking at third baseman over the last couple of years. So again, that's why I'm looking at the last couple of years, just because 2020, it was a bit of a wash of a season for a lot of guys. And, some guys really did well, but some other guys that we're used to seeing well didn't play very well. So I'm factoring in, I even factored in going back to 2018 as well for some guys. But, if you take a look, Eugenio Suarez, where is he at? He's he's 11th overall when it comes to wins above replacement over the last 2 years. But look at the offense. I mean, very good. Defense, it's going to be whatever with him. He's going to get the job done, but he ranked 11th in offensive runs above average over the last 2 years. Man, and hey, that 2020 season, he still had a lot of home runs. To me, I still think he is a very solid a very, very solid third baseman. JT Povazan, we will have to wait and see if he made my list. We will have to see. Let's take a look. And also with Suarez, let's take a look at the advanced stats. The hard hit percentage still ranks really well. Exit velocity still ranks well. Most of the expected numbers still rank well. Gets a ton of barrels still. He's actually, this past year, he was actually pretty decent on defense according to Baseball Savant. Still struck out a little bit. X batting average still wasn't very good. But to me, Eugenio Suarez, still one of the more solid third basemen in the league. He was involved in trade rumors this offseason, maybe going to the Mets at one point. Who knows? Maybe he could still go to the Mets at one point. But Eugenio Suarez, I have coming in at number 8. Coming in at number 7. We are moving right along on this list. At number 7, I have Yoan Moncada. I believe he was number 7 on my list last year. Yoan Moncada, not really too much of a 2020. Didn't really hear about him too much. A lot of people were thinking, hey, maybe this guy could be, an MVP candidate coming into this past season. I still think the guy has MVP potential. Yoan Moncada is still a very young player. So let's pull up the Yoan Moncada stats. Not too much of a 2020 season. He did miss some time. I believe he came into last season. I believe he had COVID, and so he had to start the season a little late. But let's share the screen here. Taking a look at Yoan Moncada. Not too much of a 2020 season. Hey, as you guys know, I am familiar with Yoan Moncada. He was traded to the White Sox from the Red Sox in the Chris Sale trade that also involved Michael Kopech. So Yoan Moncada, still sometimes I'm like, oh man, I wish we still had this guy. But it feels better because we have Devers. So Moncada, only 25 years old. This past season, not really too much. A 225 average, had 6 homers, had the 385 slugging. But if you go back to 2019, this guy had an all-around good game. 25 homers, 79 RBIs, had 10 stolen bases, hit 315, really good on base. I still think there's potential for this guy to be an MVP candidate. I'm considering him to be an MVP. This year, definitely going to think about it. This guy's just electric. If we go take a look at the advanced stats, not really too much here. Again, it was a down year for him. Came in, especially when you're already spring training got completely messed up last year, and then he was sick coming into this year. It's just it was a wash of a season for him. These baseball players, they're creatures of habit, and when you're just off, coming into the season and you just don't even have enough time to really get yourself going. It's not, it's expected to, like a guy like Yoan Moncada is going to struggle. So, especially when he's still kind of young too, still working on some things. But as you can see here, the sprint speed, still very good. He was actually good in the field this past year. He still walked a lot, so that was a really good sign. But just everything else, based off the quality of contact, not great. with him, but I'm expecting a bounce back season this year. Don't be surprised to see Yohan Moncada's name in the MVP discussion by the end of the year. I think this guy could definitely be one of the better players in the game. So I'm going to keep him at number 7. Let's also take a look at where he's ranked. If we take a look over the last couple of years, where is he? So over the last couple of years, he was actually 5th. He was 5th when it came to offensive runs above average over the last 2 seasons. Let's see where he was with wins above replacement. He was 5th. So I think this is a fair spot for him. Not a great 2020. Kind of a little below where he ranked over the last 2 years. So I think 7 is a good spot for him. So let's move on to number 6 here. Coming in at number 6. Let's see. Number 6, Alex Bregman. Here's an interesting one. Alex Bregman. This guy I had very high on my list last year. Where was he on my list last year? He was number 2. I had Alex Bregman at number 2. I'm already expecting all the vomit faces coming in any second now. But Alex Bregman, to me, look, this guy, come on. This guy still has all the talent in the world. I believe Alex Bregman is going to continue to be a solid player. Let's take a look. Here we go. Alex Bregman coming in at number 6. Let's share the screen here. Here we go. Not a great season from him. However, not a great average, 242, had 6 homers, but look at the on base. Still a really good on base percentage, 350. Hey, you guys can, say what you want about the trash cans and whatever, but the guy was still getting on base, 350. You guys know he wasn't cheating this past year. You know that none of that was happening. I'm sorry, but I'm moving on. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm moving on from the trash cans. I'm moving on because you know what? The Astros, they made it to Game 7 of the ALCS without any cheating. There was no cheating whatsoever. I'm not defending them by any means. Terrible what they did. But, hey, you know what? For me, personally, I'm going to start moving on a little bit. And, I'm curious to see what Alex Bregman's going to do. The on-base percentage is still, still very good. The Green Islander. Yes, I am moving on. I'm trying to move on. It's it's still it's a tough thing to move on from. Man, banging on trash cans. Didn't think it would be such a bad thing, but here we are. Here we go. But taking a look, if you go back to that 2019 season, holy cow, this guy was really good. 296. Who knows how many trash cans or buzzers were involved? I don't know, but whatever. Good season. 296, 423 on base. I believe he finished 2nd in MVP. 41 home runs, 112 RBIs. The guy was out of his mind. He was out of his mind. I don't know if there was any cheating going on, but overall in the last 2 years, he's ranked 2nd in wins above replacement. And you know what? Hey, I think I'm being fair. I'm putting him at number 6, because not a great season combined with the cheating allegation or the cheating scandal, not allegations. But hey, number 6 for me, Alex Bregman. I still think he's a really solid player. And yeah, that's what I think. So moving on, before we get into our top 5, if I may, real quick, if you are new here, you're looking for more baseball content and news, think about hitting that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 6K by opening day. We're at 5.9. We are so close. I can smell it. I can taste it. It's right there, everyone. We're within 100 subscribers of 6K. So definitely think about hitting that subscribe button. Hit that like button for me, everyone, if you have not already. And follow me on Twitter as well if you would like to talk some baseball throughout the day. So going into our top 5. Here we go. This list is stacked. James Scott, I disagree. With that. A 350 on base, that's a really good on base percentage. I still think Alex Bregman is still very good. The advanced numbers are still pretty good with him. If you go take a look, not hitting the ball as hard, with a spring training that was just completely out of whack. He doesn't strike out a lot still. He still walks a lot. He still plays very well in the field. He still ranks in the top half in sprint speed. Exit velocity, he actually ranked halfway. I disagree with that. I still think, a 350 on base is very good. And, Yeah, I'm expecting a bounce back season. Only 26 years old. I'm expecting Alex Bregman to continue to be a good player. Sure, will he be as good as he was a few years ago? I don't know. But, I mean, will he be as good as 2019? Maybe not. I don't know. But I still think there is potential personally. So, moving on. Here we go. Top five. Who did I have at number 5? I don't even remember. At number 5, we got Nolan Arenado. Some of you might be saying, gasp! Nolan Arenado at number 5, but hear me out here. I like Nolan Arenado a lot. I'm very excited to see what he's going to do with the Cardinals. Here we go. Taking a look at the stats. Alrighty. Moving to the screen share. Here we go. Alrighty. Nolan Arenado had a bit of a down season. And, had some injuries. Here's the thing. Nolan Arenado at number 5 is so weird to me, but that to me shows how good these third basemen are. This was tough. This is a tough list for me to do. And, and I actually almost had him in my top 3, but, had to kind of, it was close. This was a hard list, very hard list. But looking at Nolan Arenado here, not a great season from him this past year. Dealt with some shoulder stuff. 253 average, a 303 on base. Only had the 8 home runs. Even playing, in cores. Who knows how much that has to do with his success. It's going to be very interesting to see what he does with St. Louis this year, not playing at cores so much. But hear me out here. Here's why I have him at number 5. So, as you can see here, he's been amazing. I mean, very amazing. But the 2020 season really kind of brought him down. But, however, if we take a look, if you take a look at the wins above replacement over the last 2 years, he's only 6. No. If you take out DJ LeMahieu from here, they have him on here because he was playing third as well. Nolan Arenado, according to wins above replacement, over the last 2 seasons, ranks 5th. But then you also combine a bad 2020 season. I mean, I think that's pretty fair to put him at number 5. Look at these other guys. Anthony Rendon, Bregman, Chapman, Machado, all ahead of him when it comes to wins above replacement. But you're also factoring in a 2020 season. You're also factoring in, hey, does Coors Field actually help that much? So I personally think, I know a lot of you are disagreeing here, like, what? Arenado number 5? I think this is completely fair. I'm sorry, I think it's fair. And because right here, if you take DJ LeMahieu out, he ranks 5th over the last 2 years. And then this is also combined with a 2020 season. This is also combined with Coors. So if you disagree, I apologize, but I think it's fair. I think the 5 spot is very good for him, but he just missed getting into at least the top 4. Just missed. That's how close this was. You could make an argument for all these top 5 guys. You could make an argument to be number 1. Each of them have an argument. So, Edmund 19. Come on, my friend. Listen. I understand he's a Cardinal, but come on, it's not horrible, my friend. Come on. Nolan Arenado, he's going to have a good season. Nolan Arenado could end up being number 1 on next year's list. I'm very excited to see what he can do with the Cardinals. I'm really excited to see. I'm excited to see what the Cardinals can do this year. So here we go. Moving on to number 4. This was very close. I actually had this guy at number 5 at one point, but you know what? He just edged out Arenado for me. At number 4, I have Matt Chapman. I am a big Matt Chapman fan. This glove, Arenado has a really good glove too, but Matt Chapman, holy cow, the glove on this guy, holy cow. Matt Chapman is one of my favorite players in the game. And but you know what? If you go take a look here at the numbers, here we go, sharing the screen. Matt Chapman ranks 4th overall in wins above replacement over the last couple of seasons. I actually had him as my MVP coming into last season. I thought, like, okay, here we go. This is the season of Matt Chapman. This is going to be it. And then he got hurt. So that's something I'm going to keep an eye out for as well. I'm definitely going to keep an eye out for Matt Chapman in this season because he had the hip surgery. I've had a hip surgery before. For those of you that don't know, if I may entertain you, I did get hip surgery back in 2015. But I'll tell you, that hip, I got surgery on my left hip. I got the same surgery that he got. My left hip actually feels amazing. I have never had any problems with that hip ever since. Now my right hip actually gives me problems more. So I think Matt Chapman is going to be completely fine. I think he's going to be good to go. And Matt Chapman, but like I said, he ranks 4th in wins above replacement over the last 2 seasons. So really big fan of Matt Chapman. If we go take a look actually at the stats, let's pull him up here. So not a great season from him. He only played 37 games. The power was still there, though. 10 home runs in 37 games. He was on pace for probably around 40 home runs, to be completely honest with you. He had 10 home runs in 37 games. That's really good. And the average wasn't quite there. The on-base wasn't quite there. But you know what? It's a short season in 2020. Like, yeah, sure. Like, I was seeing earlier that, what was the name again? I'm going blank. Who was I talking about earlier? Hold on, let me take a look. It was, like Bregman. Yeah, sure, like Bregman had his struggles, in the second half last year. It's a 60-game season. You can't, I'm not really like 2020, like, sure, I'll take a look at some things, but like, if a guy is slumping, and you got all that other stuff on the side that he was having, I mean, totally deserved everything that Bregman, and that whole Astros team did. But I'm not going to look at one half of a 2020 season. It's 60 games. Like, I'll look at it a little bit, but I'm not going to factor in so heavily on a 60-game season. That's just my personal opinion. If a guy struggled in the second half of the season, like, okay, whoop-de-doo. But, I don't know. But Matt Chapman, overall, 37 games, 10 home runs. That's pretty good, if you ask me. This guy was on pace for a good amount of home runs. But if you go back to 2019, 36 homers, 91 RBIs. I mean, the guy, his power was getting better every year. He could have maybe passed 36 home runs this year if he played a full 162-game season. And if you take a look, I mean, the defense has been absolutely amazing. I mean, the guy's glove is just off the charts. If you're bored, go to YouTube, type in Matt Chapman on YouTube, and just look at defensive highlights. The guy is insane. It's insane. One of the best third basemen I've ever watched personally. And Matt Chapman, to me, I'm expecting a good season from him. To only 27 years old still. Hopefully the hip is good to go. I know from experience, a hip surgery, I'm feeling pretty good from it since then. I think he's going to be fine. But what do I know? So, could Matt Chapman maybe get into the MVP conversation? I think he definitely has the potential. The defense is already there. Could he put together a really strong offensive season? We'll have to wait and see. But here we go, getting into our top 3. This was a little difficult for me. Again, this whole list was pretty difficult. It was not an easy list for me to put together because third base is such a deep position. But it is what it is. At number 3, Manny Machado. I don't think he was on my list last year. He did not have a good 2019 season with the Padres. Had some power, but not quite there. When it came to just the all-around good game. Actually, let me take a look at the 2020. No, I left him off my list in 2020. I just was not a fan. But man, he had, so again, I'm factoring in, let's come back to here. I'm factoring in not so much of 2020, but the numbers that he was putting up over a 60-game stretch, I mean, sure, yeah, guys are going to go through slumps, but this guy was just, producing consistently. It wasn't, it didn't even seem like a hot streak to me. It just seemed like he was just playing really consistent baseball throughout the whole season. Hit pretty well in the postseason as well. But let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the stats. So moving on to Manny Machado, making my top 3. So if we actually go back, again, he did not have a great 2019 season, but the short 2020 season really helped his case here. he vaulted himself into, well, if you don't count DJ LeMahieu, he vaulted himself into the top 9 over the last 2 seasons. So that's how good he was in 2020. So if we take a look at 2020, hit 304, had an insane on base, 370 on base, 580 slugging, had the 16 homers. He drove in runs. He was playing defense. This guy looked like the guy the Padres brought in on a big contract. 2019 was kind of a weird season. It wasn't really doing too much. The average was low. The on base was lower. Or then kind of like if you look at 2018, he had a 367 on base and it dropped about over 30 points. The slugging dropped. It looked like he was trying to adjust. And but this season, holy cow, he was definitely on pace for around 35, 40 home runs. This guy was awesome. He was hitting. He was getting on base. Just an all-around good game for Manny Machado. And to me, I think he's going to continue to get back to like that around 5 to 6 win kind of a player guy. Hopefully he does, because I would hate to see that contract end up being a really bad contract. So I'm sure Dodgers fans would love if he ends up struggling. But I like Manny Machado a lot. So this season I really enjoyed watching him play. Not a big Manny Machado fan. There's kind of some antics that he's had in the past, but really just enjoyed watching him. Fernando Tatis Jr. was kind of stole the show a bit, but Manny Machado really good. Really good. And so, for some people, maybe this is a bit of a stretch. Yeah, Chester, I see what you're saying there. I'm not going to look too much into the 2020 season. To me, I'm going to factor more of a really good 2020 season compared to a guy that's struggling. To me, I'm not going to weigh too much into a season where if a guy struggles in a short season where he's shown success in the past. Hey, some guys, sure, they handled the 2020 season really well, but guys can go into slumps. Machado could have easily gone into a slump here. I understand what you're saying a little bit. It does sound a little hypocritical, but to me, I just think guys can get into slumps. It happens. It happens to all your favorite players out there, no matter what team you root for. Guys go into slumps, and unfortunately, some guys went into some slumps during the season. So yeah, it's kind of weird what I'm saying a little bit, but I'm not going to look too much at a guy that slumped who has had a good track record compared to a guy where Machado, to me, I don't think this was a bit of a hot streak. I think this was just him playing very well. So, yeah, Chester, I'm not, I see what you're saying, but I'm sorry. I'm not going to look too much at a guy that's, that slumped a little bit. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you, my friend. But here we go. Moving in to the, real quick, actually, let's take a look. Machado's advanced stats, awesome. And this, to me, this kind of said to me, this guy he's the real deal. Obviously, I was a little worried about that 2019 season. I was like, oh my, what are we going to get here with Machado? Just signed a huge deal. But the advanced numbers, still very good. Overall, Manny Machado, very good. So, taking a look here at the top 2. Here. Here we go. Who do I have here? This guy, I really tried. To put this guy number 1. I did. I'm a big fan of this guy. Maybe some of you don't agree with this one. Maybe some of you think he should be a little lower. Maybe some of you think he should be number 1. I think this guy had a case for MVP last year. Jose Ramirez. I really like Jose Ramirez a lot. So Jose Ramirez, man, one of my favorite players in the game. Really enjoy watching him. He was really fun to watch. This past year. This guy was just playing electric baseball all year. So let's go ahead, share the screen. Here we go. So what a season from him. Hit 292, 17 home runs, 386 on base. I mean, good grief. This guy's numbers were off the charts. A 3.4 wins above replacement. Personally to me, man, I wanted to put this guy number 1. I really did. I really wanted to put him number 1. But there's someone else on this list that I just couldn't not put at number 1. But anyway, we're talking about Jose Ramirez right now. 3.4 wins above replacement. Over 58 games. This guy, to me, was my personal MVP. Jose Abreu had some better numbers, but I just think when you're talking about the word valuable, I just think Jose Ramirez was so much more valuable to that Cleveland Indians team than Jose Abreu was to the White Sox. That might sound insane, but just seeing Jose Ramirez basically carry that offense for the Indians, it was really fun to watch. Really fun. But 2020, he matched his wins above replacement in 2019 in 2020 in about half the games, in less than half the games. He was doing that good. The one thing that kind of holds me back with Ramirez, he didn't play as well defensively this past season. That was like the one little, oh, come on, Nate Beast. No, it's not. No, it's not. JH Sports, what is going on with you and the microphone, my friend? What is happening? Do you not like the microphone? Did the microphone do something to you, my friend? Did the microphone say something mean at one point? I don't know, my friend. I don't know what it is. You don't like the microphone? I don't know, my friend. I don't know. But here we go. Jose Ramirez. Very good. Jose Ramirez is very good. So taking a look, the one other thing that kind of held me back a little bit on Jose Ramirez was the exit velocity and the hard hit percentage. Not a big deal because the barrels were still really good. JH Sports, it's not echoing, my friend. I tested this out over the last couple hours. It's not echoing. Everyone else said it sounds pretty good. I don't think it's echoing a lot. I don't think it's echoing at all. I tested this earlier. So JH Sports, I'm not really sure what you're talking about, my friend. So maybe check something with your settings. I'm not really sure, but I don't know. But back to Jose Ramirez. Very good numbers all across the board. Very good numbers, advanced all across the board. Really like me some Jose Ramirez. If we go take a look at what he's done, he ranks 7th in wins above replacement over the last 2 seasons. And then this really good 2020 season, to me, just vaulted him up to number 2. So, yeah, yes, JH Sports. We got to calm down, my friend. So, taking a look here. Jose Ramirez, 7th overall in the last 2 seasons, but a very good 2020 season. Really fun to watch. Really fun to watch. Really excited to see what he can do over the 2021 season. Can he duplicate those kind of numbers again? Can he carry the Indians again back to the postseason? He had that walk-off home run that got the Indians into the end of the postseason. So, yeah, really like Jose Ramirez. Really like him a lot. Here we go. Coming in at number 1. You know, and again, this list, I know a lot of you out there. I know some of you in here. I'm seeing the comments. I'm seeing it. But, you know, trust me, I understand the frustration. I get it. You know, hey, these are my thoughts. You guys know I have a potato for a brain. I mean, I could be saying some things here to try and justify what I'm saying, but I could be completely wrong about what I'm saying. I'll look back on this stream, you know, how many months from now, and I'll be like, wow, you know, that was dumb. That was very dumb. But hey, this is what I'm thinking now. The whole point of the list, everyone, the whole point of these lists, it's just to have conversation. And you know what? And I'm glad that you guys are passionate. Really, I'm very happy how passionate you guys are about this. It's fun. I enjoy this. Like the fact that you guys are really like gung ho over some of your favorite players. And you know, third base. I saw this list being a little definitely controversial because third base is a prime position when it comes to not just really good offensive players, but good defensive players as well. So I saw this one being tough. I really did. I really saw this list not, you know, some people not being happy, some people being, you know, pretty happy, and then some people wanting to rip my face off. It's completely fine. Hey, trust me, I teach kids every day that probably want to rip my face off all day. I'm used to it. If you don't like my face, that is completely fine. So here we go. At number one, everyone. This is, again, it was very hard to put this guy number 1. I wanted to put like I said, all of these guys on this list could be number 1. You could make an argument for all of these guys. Maybe some of them near the bottom, maybe not number 1. But a lot of these guys on this list have an argument for number 1. But at the end of the day, this guy to me is just the best guy out there. He's the best. At number 1, Pablo Sandoval, this guy has just been off the show. Wait, hold on. That's the wrong one. I'm so sorry. Anthony Rendon coming in at number 1. Here we go. The number 1 guy, in my opinion. This guy has just been so consistent. No, you know what? Screw it. We're going Pablo Sandoval, number 1. I'm just kidding. Number 1. Anthony Rendon. Really like Anthony Rendon. One of the best on-base guys in the league. If you go take a look over the last 2 seasons, the guy's just been so good. He's been so good. He's kind of like it's funny with Anthony Rendon because he's kind of like he's a quiet player. Like, he's not going to be one of these like electric players like, a Fernando Tatis Jr. or like a Mike Trout or like a Bryce Harper. He's not going to be one of those players, but he's just so solid. He's so solid. Taking a look at Anthony Rendon, it was a bit of a quiet season for him because the Angels weren't in contention. I wasn't really hearing anything about Anthony Rendon. But the funny thing about Anthony Rendon too is he's not the best player on his team. Mike Trout is. So Mike Trout is going to get all the attention with the Angels. But if you take a look at Anthony Rendon, he was still really good this past season. 9 home runs, the 286 average, those are fine and dandy. But look at the on base, a 418 on base, a 497 slugging. Look at the WRC plus, a 154. Good grief, a 2.7 wins above replacement over 52 games. This guy's been awesome. If you go back to 2019, had a 7.0 wins above replacement, 34 homers, 126 RBIs, a 319 average, 412 on base, 598 slugging. Holy cow, I can't breathe saying all these numbers. Going back to 2018, 24 homers, 92 RBIs, 374 on base. This guy's an on-base machine. I could not leave this guy off at number 1. I tried to maybe, think, okay, Jose Ramirez, could he be number 1? Matt Chapman, even Nolan Arenado, I thought at one point. Hey, Pablo Sandoval too. Pablo Sandoval has a case as well, everyone. I know a lot of you hate on Pablo Sandoval, but here's something Pablo Sandoval did, everyone. There's one thing that he did that no other baseball player has ever done. You can talk about the postseason numbers all you want with Pablo Sandoval. Yeah, postseason hero. He led the Giants to how many World Series? But the guy exploded, his belt exploded at home plate. Tell me another guy in Major League Baseball history where their belt has exploded. Please tell me one other guy. Pablo Sandoval, the only man to make his belt explode at the plate. So, Pablo Sandoval, I love you. I'm kidding. You drove me absolutely nuts, Pablo Sandoval. I hope you're doing well. Hope you've lost some weight. That I think you have, right? If you're watching this, I'm so sorry. Here we go. But Anthony Rendon, to me, I really wanted to put Jose Ramirez here. Really did. But Anthony Rendon, he's just too good. To me, I definitely see an argument for other guys, but man, Rendon, it's just really good. The only thing where I kind of got held back a little bit on Rendon, if we take a look at the defensive numbers, it's funny on Fangraphs, they are good with him on the defensive runs above average, but if you go take a look, Baseball Savant isn't very friendly when it comes to the outs above average with him. So definitely didn't rank very well there. But look at the walks, top 5%. That's what you're going to get that with Rendon. Look, doesn't strike out a lot. Doesn't swing and miss a lot. The barrels were a little low this past year, but that's fine. The guy, if a guy is getting on base, that to me is a really good sign. I still think, the guys that aren't getting on base, they're not seeing the ball very well. Those are the guys you kind of have to worry about a little bit. That's why I'm personally not too low on Bregman, just because the on base was still it was still good for the whole season. Anthony Rendon is a guy I'm not going to worry about. And I think Rendon is going to age really well because he's just so good at getting on base. So he has a good eye at the plate. He walks. He takes pitches. I love Anthony Rendon's game. Exit velocity, still really good. Hard hit percentage, still really good. Man, what else is there to say? Then there's my list. So let's go over my list one more time. So starting at number 10, let's review. Let's recap. What did I just say? Review? What am I saying? Here we go. At number 10, Rafael Devers. At number 9, I had Justin Turner. At number 8, Eugenio Suarez. At number 7, Yohan Moncada. At number 6, Alex Bregman. At number 5, Nolan Arenado. At number 4, Matt Chapman. At number 3, Manny Machado. At number 2, Jose Ramirez. At number 1, oh wait, hold on, I'm wrong. Oh, yeah, no, at number 1, Pablo. No, I'm just kidding. At number 1, Anthony Rendon. So that is my list, everyone. I am all done with my list. All done. So, yeah, NHOJ Crab. Sorry, man. Chris Bryant, couldn't keep him on, man. Couldn't keep him on. He's not produced. He was terrible this past year. But even in 2019, the advanced numbers were starting to dip. The exit velocities dipped. Bryant, to me, I still think is a top 20. So, top 10. This list is just too stacked. It's too stacked. So, too stacked, man. I still think he's a top 20 guy, and I still think he's going to have a good season. Could he get back onto this list next year? We'll have to wait and see. So, Alec Boehm. I thought about Alec Boehm, but I want to see more. It's simply, Alec Boehm was really good in the short time that he played. Hey, Nahawand, I literally showed you my, rationale for putting him at number 5. He ranked 5th overall the last 2 years in wins above replacement. That's my case. So, and he had a down 2020 season. So, I actually thought about putting him a little lower. I think 5 is a fair spot. Maybe 4. You can make an argument for 4. I don't think he's top 3. So, that's where I'm at with that. But I'll stay in the chat for just a little bit. I'm in quite the talking mood. I am not as tired tonight. I've been really tired for the last couple of days. I had a case of the Mondays on Monday. Yesterday, I had to start early, so that was weird. I started my stream yesterday at what time did I start yesterday? 5? 5:15? Something like that. So I was all over the place yesterday. And so it felt nice. I felt kind of rested coming in today. Felt pretty good. So I don't know. Let's go check on some news. Do we have any news at all? Here we go. MLB trade rumors. Sharing the screen here. Giants signed Jeremy Walker. So recorded a 2.88 ERA, more than a strikeout per inning in the minors. Not bad. So drafted in 2016. Is there any news? Pirates get Dustin Fowler from the A's. Yeah, the Red Sox designated Marcus Walden. This guy was really good in 2019. I saw this today, and pretty crazy. Marcus Walden was really good in 2019. Didn't do very good this past year, but 2019, this guy was awesome. He had 78 innings. He had a 3.81 ERA, 3.69 FIP. Not a ton of strikeouts, but his performance definitely dipped in 2020. So I was a little sad for the Red Sox to release him because I actually really liked him in 2019. In 2018, he was pretty good as well. He only pitched in 8 games, but pretty good that season. So yeah, we got this whole Kevin Mather stuff going on. Oh my God. Okay, so with these comments, I guess I can. I mean, they're just dumb comments to make. I just didn't understand why this guy just went on this tirade. I can, in a way, appreciate the honesty, but dude, your vision is just out of whack. I can appreciate the honesty. I really can. He was just brutal. It wasn't even brutally honest. It was kind of just the way you're thinking. What are you thinking? What are you talking about? Julio Rodriguez, about the English? I mean, the English wasn't even that bad. I'm kind of thinking, you said Marco Gonzalez was boring. Just very interesting. These are, things that you would say to, I wouldn't even say these kind of things to my friends. I don't know. Maybe I would say Marco Gonzalez is boring. Because, let's be real, Marco Gonzalez he's not the most exciting pitcher out there. But, like, you're paying the guy how much money? That's not something you just said, but he was really solid. So, like, boring is just not a great word to describe Marco Gonzalez. It's, to me, the first word that comes into my head is just solid. I don't think, I mean, yeah, he's not gonna strike out a million guys. That's just not his game. If you take a look at the strikeouts per nine, I mean, 8 strikeouts per nine, that's not ranking near the top, but he doesn't walk guys. He's pretty solid for the most part. Like, you know, yeah, like, I guess I understand what he was saying about him being boring, but boring is such a negative way to talk about him, because it's just, it's not, like, I look at it as a glass half full. He's, to me, a solid guy that's going to give you innings, and he's going to go out there and compete. To me, I just think the way that guy was making these comments, it was just so like a glass, like half empty kind of a look. But Marco Gonzalez actually did something really funny. He did something really funny. I love this. He put very boring. This is awesome. What an amazing bio for your Twitter. So funny. Very boring. I hope he keeps that for the whole year. I hope he keeps that for the rest of his career. So, really funny. Anything else here? Anything on Jackie Bradley Jr.? Is there anything on Jake Odorizzi? I mean, what is going on? I mean, I'm surprised Jake Odorizzi's not signed. Phillies have checked in. I think that would be a good signing. I think the Phillies, they need starting pitching depth. I think that would actually be... I think that would be really good for the Phillies if they brought him in. I mean, if you take a look at right now the Phillies depth chart, I mean, you got Nola and Wheeler at the top. So, but after, I mean, you got Eflin too, but after that, you got Velasquez, who hasn't really shown too much as a starter. You got Matt Moore. I really think Odorizzi would be a good fit with the Phillies. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think this would be a good signing for them if they could get him in. But they needed to figure this out, because pitchers and catchers have already reported. I mean, these pitchers should have signed already. So that's just my opinion. Anything on Jackie Bradley Jr.? What is going on with this guy? Jackie, what are we doing? He has a couple of contract offers. JD Martinez says there was a rumor of the Brewers getting involved. That would surprise me. You still got Lorenzo Cain, unless they're going to trade away Lorenzo Cain. I don't know. But who's going to take that contract? I don't know. So as of right now, JD Martinez said on Tuesday, former teammate Jackie Bradley Jr. told him he's waiting for a team to take the next step. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Jackie Bradley, you know, he's solid, but I think he's really holding out for some money. I think he's holding out for a little bit more. What's going on? What are all the exclamation points? Michael needs me. Who's Michael? What are we talking about? I don't know. Anyway, but Jackie Bradley Jr., he tweeted out something. So he tweeted this out on Monday. There are about a half dozen teams that seem to be considering Jackie Bradley Jr. Brewers are in the mix. I mean, who are these teams? So sounds like Boris Disinfo. Those 6 teams probably include the Mets, Phillies. I don't see the Mets doing it now, because the Mets have already brought in Kevin Pillar and Almora. The Phillies, I still think, could be involved. The Brewers are weird. Like, the Brewers are weird to me because Lorenzo Cain, I believe his contract is up after this year. So if we take a look, so looking at the payroll, oh no, he's a free agent after 2022. So I don't know. They're paying him a lot of money. I don't know. I just don't. I mean, could he play left? Maybe. Let's take a look at we're not left. Could he play right? I mean, no. You got Aviseo Garcia out there. Yelich is going to play left. I don't see how. I mean, if you got Jackie Bradley Jr. Oh my God, that defense would be so good. Have him out in center field. I mean, Kane is already good defensively too. I don't see the point. I don't see the point of the Brewers bringing him in. Maybe they kick the tires a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Am I missing something? I don't know. So, what are we talking about? Oh, Michael Yench. What's up? What's happening? What's going on? I'm not sure what is happening. Michael, you got some news. What is the news? Type it in there, and I'm gonna keep looking at this. Who was another team? San Francisco, I still think could be an option. That definitely is an interesting fit. So, taking a look here. I mean, as of right now, you got Mauricio Dubon out in center. So, I mean, you could you make Dubon more of like a utility guy, and then have Jackie Bradley out there in center? So, yeah, Vincent Preston doesn't want to go to the Angels. I could definitely see the Angels getting involved as well. So the Phillies seem like a decent fit. So definitely the Giants as well. I could see the Giants. So taking a look here, who was the other team this guy said? I mean, but then the Red Sox too. I mean, could you just? But the thing with the Red Sox, though, I don't think Chaim Bloom's going over that luxury tax line. He's already there. If we take a look at the payroll, he's not. There's no way. He's right around like 2.5 million away, and I think that's actually like that sounds like a pretty good spot to be at. I think it gives you like a tiny bit of flexibility. So, that's just, I don't think he's going to go over that. It kind of seems to me that Bradley's not coming back. I like Bradley Jr. He's one of my favorite players, but if we take a look, I mean, right now, Verdugo in center, looking like right now. I would personally, I would like to just keep Verdugo out in right, have Bradley out in center, and then, keep Franchi in left, and then you got Hunter Renfroe. Have those two kind of mix and match, righty lefty. To me, that would be perfect. That'd be perfect. But how are you going to bring this guy back? He doesn't fit money wise. So, I don't know. I can't believe these guys haven't signed. I can understand Jackie Bradley more because position players don't have to report yet. But I am very, very surprised about Jake Odorizzi. Very surprised. Definitely could see the Phillies. I could definitely still see the Angels. I could still see the Giants. Look out for the Giants. I definitely could see that. They could use some more pitching depth. So I think he would fit really well in that ballpark too. So, but everyone, that is all I got for tonight. I'm going to get out of here. It's 10 o'clock. That's the goal I was hoping for tonight. 10 o'clock finish. But everyone, I'll be back tomorrow night. We're going to go over shortstops tomorrow night. Shortstops. I'm excited for another list, another round of people yelling at me over my list. I love it. It's awesome. I love it. I'm just kidding. No. I really do like making these lists for you guys. I really enjoy the conversation. I really do. But yeah, it's all in good fun at the end of the day. It's all in good fun. But everyone, that's all I have for tonight. Before I get out of here, if you are new still, have not yet subscribed, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 6K by opening day. Hit that like button for me. It's going to get the stream out to more people that weren't able to make it in tonight. Go follow me on Twitter. But everyone, that's all I got for tonight. Thank you again. Have a great night. And as always, I'll talk to you next time.